A two-state solution conference that comes with a catastrophe in Gaza as an unavoidable backdrop, but a broader conflict that has lasted for generations, and as the UN chief articulated here, defying hopes, diplomacy, countless resolutions and international law.
Precisely because of the grim realities, we must do even more to realize the two-state solution. Today's conference is a rare and indispensable opportunity. We must ensure that it does not become another exercise in well-meaning rhetoric. It can and must serve as a decisive turning point, one that catalyzes irreversible progress towards ending the occupation and realizing our shared aspiration for a viable two-state solution. The two-state solution remains the only framework rooted in international law, endorsed by the Assembly and supported by the international community.
The conference, co-hosted by France and Saudi Arabia, seeks focus on four key thematic areas, including efforts to rally formal recognition of Palestinian statehood, promotion of regional integration with Arab and Islamic normalization of relations with Israel, internal reforms of Palestinian governance, and finally the disarmament and exclusion of Hamas from a future Palestinian state.
Your presence in large numbers here today demonstrates the consensus and the mobilization of the international community around the appeal for the end of the war in Gaza. The New York conference, and this will be my second point, must be a turning point and a transformational juncture for the implementation of the two-state solution.
A view echoed by his co-facilitator.
We confirm
the need to support the international alliance for the two-state solution, to follow up on the outcomes of this conference, and to consolidate international efforts to implement clear steps that are chronologically clear to put an end to the occupation and embody the Palestinian state in a manner that would achieve stability and security to all the region and enhance cooperation between the different countries in a manner that would bolster international peace and security.
It's an honor to speak to you today.
This member of the elders warned that the dehumanization of Palestinians by an extremist Israeli government had reached a critical point.
It is my personal view that we are seeing an unfolding genocide in Gaza. It is for international courts to make a final determination. But member states cannot wait for this. You must act now to prevent genocide. In its advisory opinion, the International Court of Justice has found that Israel's policies and actions in the West Bank constitute annexation and breach of its international obligations on racial segregation and apartheid. For those of us who believe in international law and the United Nations Charter, the stark truth is that the government of Israel has not been held accountable for its violations in Gaza and across the occupied Palestinian territory. Its leadership enjoys a high level of impunity, and measures taken to date have not been sufficient to incentivize a change of course.
She recalled an advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice that last year found Israel's security concerns did not justify its illegal presence in the West Bank and Gaza, or the annexation of territory that continues in violation of international law.
Self-defense cannot be invoked as justification for supplying arms when the use of force is unlawful or there is an overwhelming evidence of atrocity crimes. Ensuring the security of Israelis is central to finding a lasting solution, but this cannot be achieved when arms are used to perpetuate an unlawful occupation and atrocity crimes are fueling grievances on a colossal scale. Of course, there must also be accountability for systematic violations of international law by Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups, including the continued holding of Israeli hostages. It is right that member states have strengthened sanctions against Hamas in response to its atrocity crimes against Israeli civilians.
South Africa's delegation to the conference is being led by International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola, who is due to address the main plenary later Monday. The event is being boycotted by both Israel and the United States, with Washington calling the gathering counterproductive to its efforts to end the war in Gaza, which again appear to be faltering. A statement from Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, said the conference did not promote a solution, but rather deepened the illusion, and that instead of demanding the release of hostages and working to dismantle Hamas's reign of terror, the conference organizers were engaging in discussions and plenaries that were disconnected from reality. Shervin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.